Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of You Are My Boro with myself, Dom Shaw of the Northern Echo, and I'm delighted to be joined by Michael Mulhern, the manager of in-form Middlesbrough Women, who entertained Doncaster at the Riverside this Sunday, flying high, unbeaten since the last game at the Riverside against Stockport earlier in the campaign. Tickets are available now. We'll have a chat about that before the end. Thanks very much for joining us, Michael. You must be delighted, first of all, with how the season's ticking along.
Yeah, it's going great. Obviously, the plan and the objectives were to do as well as we could this year. Obviously, better than last year, where it was a different club. Really, it was before Middlesbrough took over, but they finished a point away from relegation. So it was always an aim to kind of build something and see if we could push for promotion this year. Though it wasn't expected and it isn't expected.
When I've spoken to yourself a few times this season, I've spoken to Ben Fisher, general manager, and the players, and the message from all has been the same, really, that you're very much ahead of schedule. And even though you are top now, where you've been second, third, that there's no pressure. Do you think that's played in your favour over the course of the last couple of months?
I don't know. I've always tried to. Again, we've got our goals, which have remained in the dressing room and whatnot. So we've never gone public. We're quite humble. We're just going about our business. Everybody else is from day one have been saying that they put themselves up as being favourites and all the rest of it. And I thought, well, we'll just keep ourselves to ourselves and get on with it and see where we are. My aim, wherever I've been, whatever I've done, it's always to win. It's always to win leagues, to get promoted, to win cups, whatever. But I don't give the players any pressure. I don't put any pressure onto them. We're just trying to improve and see where it takes us.
Last season was obviously a very different story for Boro. They were battling at the bottom end of the table. The official merger affiliation was announced late in the summer with the club. How did it come about that you came in as manager?
Well, obviously my history's in the women's game and the men's game, to be fair. But I was scouting for the FA and had done for 10 years in one way or another, doing the seniors and right the way down. So I met Ben, who was kind of almost the chairman of the previous regime, when I was scouting, if I was coming to watch Middlesbrough, whether that was his players or whether it was players from the opposition. So we just kind of got on, and then he got to know me, and he got in touch and just asked if I was interested. Would I be interested in coming back into the women's game, and kind of what would it take? Because I was just happy in a scouting capacity for the FA. I didn't want to go back into the women's game as a coach. I'd been in the men's game for at least 6 years and doing quite well. And circumstance that I ruptured my Achilles. So I wasn't coaching. I was kind of away from it. And it was a circumstance, really. And what he described as what was going to happen, or what Middlesbrough wanted to happen, that kind of ignited a passion in me to think, yes, I can come in with a blank canvas and have free rein to create something.
That was going to be my next question. What attracted you to Boro? And it was the fact that it was the start of something new and exciting, really.
Yeah, it was exactly that. It was a case of that, obviously I was interviewed for the job. I think there was 6 shortlisted, and then that was down to 3 for interview. And I didn't know that at the time. Like the conversations with Ben, it was almost like, oh, there's an opportunity for you to come in. Otherwise, I might not have gone down that road of doing all the preparation, all that. But to be fair, the more I talked to Ben, and he's a proper Middlesbrough supporter, I got into it. I got into what he was kind of, the club really want to do this. Steve Gibson really wants to push this. The club want to push this. And that kind of, it really interested me. And Ben was just, look, you come in, you create what you want to create, you bring in who you want to bring in, whether it's staff or players, and you create a philosophy for the club any way you want to do it, which was great. And that's the only way I would do it anyway. I'm not going to go in somewhere and do something that somebody else wants me to do. It has to be my way. And that's kind of where I've gone as a coach. I kind of go in and, well, this is where we play, and it's long balls, route one. No, that doesn't work for me. It's my way, or it doesn't matter because I'll go somewhere else. That's not arrogant. It's just belief in myself.
And it's worked, which we'll get on to. We'll touch on your time at Sunderland. But what is your way then? What can fans of Middlesbrough Women, what can those who come to the Riverside this weekend expect to see from a Michael Mulhern side?
Well, I have a philosophy which covers all 4 phases of the game, whether it's in possession, out of possession, and both transitions. So in possession, I want us to play. I want us to be comfortable on the ball, playing out from the back with a goalkeeper who can play, look after the ball, happy to receive the ball. So she's part of the team, building us through the third. So I kind of broke it down with the women's game in quarters because, again, through my time as a scout and analyst, it was obvious to me that anything over 20 yards in the women's game was a risk pass and generally didn't get where it was supposed to go. Right. So I like short passes. Lots of short passes is better than one long pass that doesn't go anywhere. So it was getting the players to buy in, and that's what I want to do. In possession, we build, increasing the tempo as we go up the field to the point where I almost bring it to the boil. By the time we get into the attacking last quarter of the pitch, we then take up the tempo and really attack a team. Out of possession, it's about work rate, hard work, being organised, hard to break down, whether that's pressing from the front or whether that's even for force back in a group, break us down, be difficult to beat. That's what we worked on really a lot in the summer. Everything else, I wanted to get that right first. Build from the back, make us hard to break down. Clean sheets, then you can build into winning games. And that's how it's been, really. We've been very strong from the start. And got stronger, and then added in the attacking aspects of the game. And again, in the transitions, again, reaction. We lose the ball, reaction. Who's going to win it back? Who's going to get around the ball? And I guess the way we play and building up with short passes, it keeps the team quite close together. So therefore, when we lose the ball, the negative transition, we're close together. We can then go and counter press straight away, go and win it back, and there's enough bodies around the ball to win it back. And likewise, just the same. When the opposition's got it, when we win it back, an instant reaction, transition, counter attack, and that's it really. Covering all those aspects, it's a lot of work, and a lot of work was spent, pre-season, 3 times a week, doing sessions, double sessions when we're doing Rockcliffe, when we're doing the Rockcliffe weekend, basically to get the strategy in place so the players understood, and it's been a work in progress. I think we're about 77, 78 sessions in now, and we're improving all the time, we're learning all the time. We're doing okay, we're ahead of schedule.
What first got you in, or how did you first get into the women's game?
Totally by accident. I was back playing, and a friend, he was involved in the women's game and the girls' game, and they basically just taken on the women's team. He said, "Will you come and do some work with regards to defending and stuff like that?" It became infectious. Their enthusiasm, and that was at Bolden ladies, Bolden girls. Their enthusiasm, it was kind of "Oh, will you come again? Will you do another session?" Oh yeah, fair enough. I'm not doing anything else. I was working towards my B license. I did need a team to work with to do some coaching. And I was working with the men's team as well, and I needed a bit more, and I just got into it. And from there, with doing the B license, the guy who was doing the B license was a guy who called Ted Copeland, who was running East Durham College at the time, and he was next women's manager. He obviously saw something in me, so he was inviting me down to do some sessions at East Durham, and I very nearly went back into men's game then. And he said, "Hang on. We're looking to take over a women's team at the top end, towards the top end, and we want you to take the team on. So don't jump," because the job in the Northern League came up. Anyway, I hung on, and sure enough, late in 1999, I took over. It was the East Durham Kestrels that became the Old Blythe Kestrels, which later, a year later, when we got promoted to the National League, and his measure straight away was, "Right, I want you to take the team on, but I want instant success. I want promotion first season. You've got access to the students. You pick the best team. You do whatever." Yeah, and we managed to get lucky and got promoted that season, and then Sunderland took us over.
And how much has the women's game changed from then, from 1999, when you first moved into it, to now?
Massively, in every single way, really. The clubs have obviously become more professional. The players have become more professional. They look after themselves, and I guess then you had players who just wanted to play. They weren't allowed to play in boys' teams, so they started to play. But things changed. Sky Sports changed everything. Girls were watching the game the same as their brothers, their cousins, their friends, and they all started to play in the street. So the girls at 8, 9-year-old were as good, if not better, than the boys in some cases. And it's become the norm. It's become the norm.
And I guess to follow on from that, where do you foresee the women's game being in 10 years' time, 20 years' time?
Well, you can see already it's getting bigger. The last couple of years, Sky Sports have got involved now. When you look at when the Sky Sports got involved in the men's game, the changes were massive. From it probably killed Sunday afternoon football, because you'd have lads playing Sunday morning, lads playing Sunday afternoon, and then suddenly, hang on, there's live football on, which changed everything, because it didn't used to be like that. I mean, when I was a kid, it was the FA Cup final, and that was about it.
Yeah.
You get you'd wait for the World Cup, the Euros, whatever, England internationals. Now it's kind of saturation. Well, the women's game's got like that over the last couple of years. It's all over Sky Sports. It's been taken kind of from the BBC. You get some BBC coverage of England games. In 10 years' time, it'll be the norm where there'll be games on pretty much like the men's game, and you'll have a choice. It's your choice whether you want to watch it or not. There'll be a lot more professional clubs aligned, and it'll be the likes of Middlesbrough, Newcastle United, Wolves, Nottingham Forest. All those names, all those professional names, will be the norm in Super Leagues 1 and 2 or whatever, 1, 2, 3, whatever it becomes. But that'll be the norm.
Let's talk about some of the players you've worked with in the past, because I've seen the likes of Beth Mead, Jill Scott, all talk up your impact. Was Jill 14? Did I read that she was 14 when you first moved her into or first gave her a chance, first moved her into a seniors game? What's the story there?
Well, that goes again, talking back to Bolden ladies, Bolden girls. I was helping run the girls, sort of under 12s, under 14s, as well as the women. Jill was about that age when I took over Sunderland. Part of the role was realised that we couldn't cope with just the girls from the college. So just going back to the initial story, got promoted year one. First season we became Sunderland, used the college girls again, but at the end of the year, the college girls, I lost 14 to America for colleges. So I realised the following season we struggled and got relegated because I couldn't put a team out. I had to grow my own. So I ended up taking on the Centre of Excellence in Sunderland, Director Centre of Excellence, and that was where the seeds were planted for the future. So I brought in the likes of Jill Scott as a young player into the Centre of Excellence, along with others, and it was a case of just being patient while they developed. Well, the rules were different then, and you could have players under 16 in a team, which you can't now. So the likes of Jill Scott made her debut at 14, along with some others. And she progressed. I think it was it was massively beneficial for those players because they ended up playing for England and whatnot. But the rules have changed. There was girls ready who I brought in at 16. They weren't allowed to play until they were 16. Lucy Bronze, Jordan Nobbs, Demi Stokes, Lucy Staniforth, all four came into the team together. All have played and are involved currently with England seniors now. And it seems as if, they're not really that old, but at 15, 14, they were ready, but they weren't allowed. So I had to wait until they were 16. They came in, and again, kind of instant impact for them as well. So
the names you mentioned there are household names now. It must give you immense pride to have known not just that you played a small part, but had a major impact in what they've gone on to achieve.
Well, it is, and it's massive. And then you've got the likes of Steph Horton, Carly Telford, again, players who made the debuts at 14. They've gone on and they've had a fantastic or having fantastic careers, really. And they're great mentors for the game and for female players and girls in the area in the northeast. So what they've achieved is brilliant. That's down to them, their hard work, and it's nice to have played a small part and helped develop them as players and people.
And it must be for the players now at Middlesbrough. It must give them great confidence to know they're working with someone who has worked with these players, who's produced these players in the past. And I guess it shows them where they can go. Not to say that they're going to go on and replicate the success, but what they're capable, what is possible in the game.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I hope I have a positive impact on them, and it's about developing people as well as players, isn't it? And some of those players won't stay at Middlesbrough. But if I've helped somewhere in making them develop as people and players, and they go and improve other teams, then that's kind of what I want to do as well. And that's what I did at Sunderland. I'm seeing a lot of the girls who used to be at Sunderland who didn't become first team players at Sunderland, but they've gone to other clubs, whether it's Spennymoor, whether it's South Shields, whether it's whoever. They've gone on and they're playing the game, which is something they love and enjoy. And if I've helped them develop, then great. And if that's the same thing at Middlesbrough, that's what I want ultimately, where players have developed and I've played a part in their development, and they're doing all right in the game. And if we get some international players along the way at Middlesbrough, brilliant, because that's what my aim is now. It's planting the seeds to develop players. And we might not see that for 4 years, we might not see that for 10 years, but it'd be nice if, we're producing players like Sunderland. I'm proud of what I did at Sunderland. That club is still, I put the seeds in place there. They're still seeing the rewards of what was done years and years ago, and I'm pleased with that. That was then. This is now. I've done that. This is Middlesbrough. 10, 20 years time, I might not be around to see that, but I want to lay the foundations now, put things in place so people are proud of that team. And I probably will be long gone. You don't keep the jobs in football forever, but if I've done my job right, then my name will be remembered for creating something at Middlesbrough, and that's what I want.
And for girls on Teesside who are primary school pupils or secondary school students, there's role models there, isn't there? That there's a path for them to follow now if they're interested in the game.
Well, it is, and they've also got to look at girls who are from Middlesbrough, like Beth Mead and Jordan Nobbs. Now, Jordan did start at Sunderland as an under-10. She moved down to Middlesbrough, a centre of excellence, purely because her dad was at Hartlepool. Yeah. But then she'd come back when she was 15. She'd come back to me at 15 to kind of do the last couple of years and then go into the women's team. So there's girls already who succeeded. Unfortunately, they had to leave Middlesbrough because at the time, whatever Middlesbrough had, I don't think, in all honesty, they appreciated what they had. I could come into Middlesbrough and pinch whoever I wanted, and I did. That shouldn't happen. It'll not happen now. Because we'll create something where the girls of Teesside and Middlesbrough have somewhere to thrive and grow, with a club to be proud of, and they can look at those girls who've gone in the past, but then they can look at girls that we have now who are from Middlesbrough, the likes of Jess Met and Ella Baker, young players from Teesside, from Middlesbrough, who are going to push on, and they're people that can aspire to be like.
We spoke about this a few times, but I remember when we were over at the unveiling at the start of the season, and you were talking about how excited you were, and it's the same with Ben. Whenever you speak to Ben, is it the same in the dressing room? Is there this real kind of feel of unity and excitement at what may be starting here about what's possible in the years to come?
Yeah, there's real excitement. I mean, you've got these girls are not all from Middlesbrough. There's an awful lot. I mean, I'm from Newcastle. A lot of the girls are from Newcastle, but they really love playing for Middlesbrough, and they want to be part of it and they want to stay here. So it's not just the girls who are within a couple of miles of the Riverside or Rockcliffe. These are girls from up the road, and they enjoy it. They're totally bought into what's happening, and they can see where this is going, and they want to be part of it. And they want to be professionals at Middlesbrough, and that ultimately is the plan, and it's not too far away. That's what we're aiming for, in the not too distant future. One of my questions in the interview was obviously how to plan and prepare Middlesbrough. Where are Middlesbrough going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? Now, we'd like to be going full time in a few years' time. Certainly want to be in the Super League in 7 years' time. That was the answer to the question. That's still 3 promotions to get to Super League 1. That takes a lot to do, and it might take us, because there's only one goes up, it might take us 2-3 years to get out of this league. Likewise, the one above. Once we're in that league, then we're really going to kick on and push towards the top. And the girls are all young enough to be involved in that process, and yes, they're hungry for it.
When you were talking there about your first job and how you got a knock at the door and said we need instant success, the message was different, wasn't it, at the start of this season? Everyone was on the same page in terms of where you want to get to, but there was a general acceptance that success doesn't come overnight.
Well, it doesn't, and if you just have a look at the neighbours, and that in my presentation from the interview, I showed the league tables of these teams who got promoted, and obviously our tier has numerous leagues to it because it goes right down to the likes of Bournemouth and whatnot. Generally, you can only afford to lose 2 games in the season because there's only one goes up, which is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so you can't slip up much. We've lost once, but we've drawn a lot, and we're still not in the driving seat. There's still Barnsley and Hull who are below us, who both, I think they both lost more than we have, but haven't drawn as many. So obviously they'll push on. and maybe take the points, and we've just lost the light for some reason. Can I just go and put that back
Yeah,
on?
of course. Yeah, I know, but I've been in that press room a fair few times when it's done that. Don't worry. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, it's difficult to get out this league. And if you look at Newcastle last year, it took them 4 years to get out that league under the current manager. They were paying players, and they were almost full time. They were working 3 days a week last season, and it still went down to goal difference.
Right.
Against a team, Durham Cestria, who are, if you like, the reserve team of Durham Women, who are Super League 2, who only work once, at the most twice a week. They don't always work twice a week. So even though there were Newcastle working 3 times a week, semi-professional, it went to goal difference. So there's no guarantees. Even I've looked at that and think, well, okay, will it make a difference if we work 3 nights a week? No. It's down to an awful lot of good things and bad things that can go on. I mean,
your last game, or your first game at the Riverside this season against Stockport, the 0-0 draw, was early in the season. You only have to look at the results to see how far you've come on since then. What will fans see a different team this Sunday compared to the team they saw earlier in the season? If the last game that was up was the last one at the Riverside.
Well, yeah, there's different players in the group. The team, the group, have gelled and improved, and we've worked on an awful lot. And we were kind of in more defensive mode, learning the defensive side of the game. The attacking aspect was just coming together really early into it. Now the attacking aspect it's in place. We're much better at that. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I know as a team we are much better. The goals column has certainly improved. So yeah, we're a better team than we were. Much better team.
And I know you touched on it there, but one of the questions I was going to ask, if we're sat here in 5 years' time, where would you like to be? What would you like the picture to look like at that stage?
Well, I'm full time, as is Ben, as the general manager, and Ben does everything. To be fair, he's arranging this, that, and the other, and moving kit around. I like to think in 5 years' time, Ben can put his feet up a little bit. We'll have a kit person in place who can do a lot of the things that Ben has to do, and take some of the pressure off him. I'd like to think there's things I'm trying to put in the background with regards to the sports science and the analysts and stuff, that we'll have people in place who are doing that. And we're in Super League 2 or Super League 1, and basically getting good crowds, where a lot of our games will be played at the Riverside, and we're getting a few thousand in to support us on a Sunday afternoon, or whenever those games are. And obviously that include live games on Sky. That's what I'd like to happen. That's what I'd like to see us. Though 5 years still might be a little bit short, when I think it took Newcastle 4 years to get out of that league. Yeah. So, that would be, the perfect scenario, but it doesn't work like that.
Well, Boro are at the Riverside this weekend at home at Doncaster. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Tickets are available online now on the club's website, but they're also available on the day. So get along there and help the girls continue their fantastic run. Thank you so much, Mick. As we say in all videos, if you haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, then please press subscribe and leave any comments if there's anything you want us to discuss in future videos. And if you listen on podcasts, then rate and review. Thanks so much for your time, Michael, and good luck this weekend and for the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll speak again in the next few weeks.
Well, thanks very much. I say it's not expensive. I think it's only £5, and it's only £1 for children and old age pensioners. It's not expensive. I'm sure it'll be a lovely sunny afternoon at the Riverside. Yeah, come along, support us. We need your support. That little push, we need that. We are at the top end of the league. Others can take over. They can catch us up. But that little push, and we just go on a little run to finish the season, and we pick up most, if not every point. Who knows? You could be helping us get through the next year and getting promotions. So yeah, come along and support your team.
Brilliant. A brilliant way to finish. Thanks very much, Michael. Good luck.
Thanks for your time. Thanks very much.